Hey there, are you one of the many people who have been trying to buy a home in Middle Tennessee, but you just, over the last 2 years, have been beaten out time after time by cash buyers or by way overbid buyers or by people who are willing to just throw sanity to the wind to buy any home here in the Middle Tennessee market, and you're just worn out? Well, I got good news for you. That's happened to a lot of people. It's been a tough 2 years to be able to buy a home here in Nashville because there's so many people wanting to move here, so few people leaving here, and there's just not that much to choose from in purchasing a home. So the strategy of how to buy a home right now has been throw caution to the wind, throw every dollar to the fire, and hope and pray. Well, I got news for you. If that's been a turnoff for you, or it's just made you decide, I'm not even going to be in this market, I give up, I'm going to go lease, this might be your time that you've been waiting for. This might be a door that's open. Let me tell you why things seem to be shifting and how you can maybe get the opportunity of a lifetime, because things have shifted in the last 2 weeks. Come on over the other side. Let's talk about the things that have shifted. Now, we're not in a buyer's market yet. I don't think we're going to be in one anytime soon, but we are certainly in a more favorable market. So let's talk about it. I got to tell you, it hasn't been fun for many of us realtors because we see the stress, we see the angst, we see the anxiety. We're a part of it. When you make offers and they just don't get accepted, or you make your best possible offer and a cash buyer from anywhere else comes in here and bests that offer, or you're just not comfortable making offers with no inspection. I got to say, I'm not comfortable doing that either. I won't. But there are concessions that buyers in the last 2 years have had to make in order to be the best offer that a seller might accept. And it's been tough, but I tell you, things have changed. The table is turned. In the last 2 months, we've seen a real difference. It's very hard to see it from the numbers when you're in the middle of it, but it's not so hard in thinking through some of the things that have made it change. Some of the offers that I've had accepted, some of the sellers that I've had saying, look, we got to make some moves. I'll make some concessions. Let's talk about those things. And don't miss your opportunity, maybe before everybody else realizes, okay, I can jump back in the market. Then you've got more competition again. So let's talk about some of the things that you might be able to do to have your offer accepted as a buyer in this niche opportunity right now. Hey, I forget to do this all the time. I'm Susan Thetford with Parks Properties. I am a native Nashvillian, and I have been a realtor my entire life. Do what everybody else is doing. If you're thinking about moving to the Middle Tennessee area, moving to Nashville, maybe a Franklin or Brentwood, reach out to me, call, text, do what so many people are doing to say, I want a little bit more information, or is this the right spot for me? We can talk about what it is that you want in a new neighborhood, a new community, and see if it's a good fit. Just because your best friend said that Brentwood is the be-all, end-all in the entire world, if you love the lake, Brentwood might not be your spot. So I'll tell you all about it. So let's put on the pretend hat. You are a buyer. A buyer a couple months ago, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months ago. When you saw a house that you really liked, you didn't have really a minute to think. Often people were making sight unseen offers and then hoping that they'd have an inspection period to be able to maybe change their mind with a get out of jail free card that inspections often give you. But the other part of that is not so long ago, people were waiving inspections completely. Hey, if I'm a seller and I'm sitting with 5 offers on the table and one is cash with no inspection, one is cash with an inspection but a pass-fail inspection, you're going to take, if the numbers are all even, the one with no inspection. So the competition for a home in a great area that was well designed, well staged, well marketed, the competition was fierce. So many people decided, I'm just going to sit this out. I'm going to maybe lease for a year and sit it out and learn the market, and hopefully prices will come down. Well, let me tell you, that hasn't happened. Prices have not come down. Something else that's happened, interest rates have increased, as in about 1.5 from 3.5 to 5 and a little over 5 just since January of this year. Prices here in the Middle Tennessee area have not gone down either, but there are some nuances that are a little bit different and a little bit more in your favor. And once the world starts hearing about that, then the buyers might flood back into it, and then you're back to all that competition with you to buy those still same homes because there's still not much inventory. So let's talk about some of the differences, some of the nuances that might make it worthwhile for you to get back into the market. One of the many reasons that the competition was so fierce for homes is because there were just very few homes on the market. We had very little inventory of homes from which to choose. Now, if somebody is older and maybe they've raised their children and they don't need that 5-bedroom home anymore, but they love their community, if they can't find a home to move to that doesn't make them move way out of their community and also take some of that equity and keep it, they were just staying put. So there was very little inventory to choose from. Something else that made it difficult for downsizers is currently, maybe their home is paid off. They really would like to move. There's very little inventory, very little homes to choose from. And currently the rate has risen quite a bit. So some of those people who decided they were going to sell, for them to buy their new home, unless they could pay cash for it, are now paying 5.5%. So they're staying put. So with that in mind, the inventory is very tight. However, if we look at the inventory of homes to choose from in June of 2021 and June of 2022, I'm going to give you some specific numbers for specific zip codes that you may have heard of. If you were looking in the 37215 zip code, now that puts you in Green Hills, most of Forest Hills, the West Nashville area. Inventory is up 63%. Now that's not a whole lot. I mean, 63% of 15 is not many numbers, but it is up a little bit. When you go over to the 37205 area, which is Belmead, the city of Belmead, inventory, the number of homes to choose is 5% less. Now, again, 5% less from 10 to 8 is very few, but it is less. So there's more competition for that Belmead home. Let's look at the Franklin zip code of 37067. Inventory is up 137%. So if you wanted to buy in Franklin, you may have a few more homes to choose from. Now, one of the reasons that Franklin inventory of homes to choose from is a little bit higher is because the further you go out into the county, into Williamson County, that's where there is more new construction. So more of that new construction is coming online and available to purchase. But that inventory year over year is up 137%. When you look at Brentwood, 37027, that inventory is up 70%. I can't really tell you why. It's just more people have decided to go ahead and try to downsize. So it's up a little bit. You have a little bit more to choose from. Mount Juliet, 37122, is up 122%. Again, that's where the new home construction coming online is being a factor. And Hendersonville at 37075, the inventory is up 100%. So you have more homes to choose from. If you have more homes to choose from and 5 other buyers do too, you're less likely to all be chomping on the bit to buy that one home. So a little bit more inventory, and part of the reason for that might also be that more people have decided to drop out of the market because the interest rates have gone up. So this could be a window of opportunity for you. Let's talk about some of the other windows of opportunity that you have. As I've talked about many times before, an offer is comprised of not only the purchase price, it's also comprised of the contingencies that may give someone a get out of jail free card, the contingencies that may allow them to back out of their contract. One of those contingencies is inspections. Now, I've got to tell you, up until a month or so ago, right at about a month, every offer I wrote had to be a pass-fail inspection to be accepted. Every offer that was accepted in the last 2 years that I've written for people was on a pass-fail inspection contingency basis, meaning that we could do an inspection and no matter what we found, we couldn't ask the seller to make those repairs. We just had to decide, yes, I'll take it based on the inspection, or no, I will not take it. Now, again, Every single offer that I'd written that had been accepted had that as a component. Now, in the last month, I've written 4 offers, all accepted, and we didn't have to waive. We didn't have to put it as a pass-fail. We did an inspection. Something else that has been a concession in many, the last 18, 20 months is allowing the seller to stay beyond the closing date. Maybe 30, maybe 45 days, maybe 60 days, so that they could take their money then and go buy a home elsewhere. So, because again, that seller knows they have to be a cash purchase, certainly can't have a contingency on the sale of their home to be able to have their offer accepted. So for the seller to be in the best stead on the next move that he's making, he needed to be able to have you buy his home, you close on his home, he stay in his home for 30 to 45 days. And again, when you're trying to write an offer that's perfect for the seller and have your offer accepted because there's many offers, those are some of the concessions that people were having to make. The last 3 closings I've had, we haven't had to make that concession at all. There's a little bit more breathing room now for buyers. There's a little more breathing room. Sellers can't be quite so, sticking it to you. Sorry, sellers, but we all want the best we can possibly get. And when you can take that kind of situation, then you should. But it's softened. It's not that way anymore. Hey, are you finding these tips helpful? My goal in every single show that we do is to give you the real skinny about maybe an area, let you see the area. Let's talk about the amenities. Let's talk about the fun things to do in that area to see if it's a good community for you. This today is to share with you some real opportunity that you may have that you may not have had. All of my shows are to help you become more versed within the area. So again, I suggest please reach out to me if I can help you in any way. Give me that email. Don't do that really. I'm slow. Shoot me a text. You got the number. Another key change that's going on right now, and it's not a big change, but it does give a little bit more breathing room, is that you have a little bit of time to think about whether you want to make an offer on a home or not. It used to be, again, the last 2 years or so, if you saw a house, you had to make an offer on that house quickly, put everything together as quickly as you could. You were probably going to be in multiple offers. And just because the listing agent said highest and best all offers due on Monday, they could have accepted an offer on Friday. You don't have breathing room time. Each situation's different. You got to know what you're dealing with. But now you might have, in most cases, a little bit more breathing time. You can go see that house and think of it over lunch. You can maybe see 4 or 5 houses and decide, you don't have long. I'm not telling you you've got a long time. You don't have a week to think about it. If you love it, it meets all your boxes. It checks all the boxes of what you want, or for the most part, it's the right price point. You don't have a long time to think about it because many people are in the same place, but you do not have to make such rushed decisions that you get into massive buyer's remorse within the hour of having made an offer. See a home. Go take lunch. Do a pros and cons checklist. If it really meets those needs, go ahead and make the offer. Hopefully there won't be 6 other ones on the market. But you do have a little bit more breathing room time. So let's talk about title. This is something that is different in every area. I want to be careful in telling you about something that you might live in Chicago or out in California. What you all do in that area is totally different, probably, than what happens here in Nashville. Up until the last 2 years when things got crazy, title insurance was a negotiable item on any contract. Title insurance is something that the mortgage company would insist that you purchase. A title insurance insures them because they've actually got more skin in the game, right? If they're lending you $600,000 on a $690,000 house, they're risking $600,000. Title insurance insures the lender that as of the date of closing, all liens on that property have been paid for. There's no other owners that have any interest in it. There's no labor or the worker or anything that's happened to it that there's a lien against that property. That's a title policy. Up until the last 2 years or so, that's a negotiable item. And it typically was negotiated that the seller would pay for an owner's policy and for the buyer. That was a typical thing. And it could cost a couple $1,000s or more, depending on how expensive the home was. This last 2 years, that has typically been waived. It's typically been something, if I wanted my offer to be accepted, it's typical recently for an offer that didn't ask for the owners to pay a title policy, that's going to be one of the winning offers, all things being equal, because it's saving them thousands and thousands of dollars. It hasn't been as negotiable as it is now. The last couple offers I've written, I thought, I think we can maybe get through with this. Let's ask for the seller to pay your title policy. Of course, I was hoping that I was doing the right thing for my buyers that I represented. But I felt a little bit more comfortable with this market because I was feeling it changing a little bit before everybody's talking about it, that yeah, we could maybe get that title policy accepted. If the very least, that could be something that could be a change in the offer, because I didn't feel like there were going to be 6 other offers on top of it if we went ahead and made the offer. So it's worked. I mean, the 2 that I have closing this week, neither one of them have had to pay the seller's title policy. The seller paid for it for my buyers. Again, that was saving my buyers several $1,000s. 8 months ago, a year ago, if you wanted your offer accepted, that was something you definitely had to waive. So knowing the market and knowing the nuances of the market and feeling the changes and knowing exactly what's happening in these areas is so key when you're finding someone to work with, or whether you're working to sell your property on your own or not, you've got to know these stats. Well, let's talk about some of the stats. One of the things that we're seeing are price cuts in the area. Price cuts meaning the house goes on the market and frankly, sellers are getting very upset actually if in the first week, 2 weeks, they don't have multiple offers and it's under contract. 6 months ago, it would have been. Now what's happening is we're seeing more and more price cuts. Maybe the home came on the market too much. Maybe it wasn't really in great shape to come on the market. Whatever reason, we're seeing price cuts in the market. I get daily updates of probably 30 to 50 homes across Middle Tennessee that have had price cuts. I'm watching for those. So with that in mind, let's talk about the price cuts that are going on throughout the county so I can show you things have softened. Now, it's not a buyer's market by any means, and I'll explain what a buyer's market means, but right now, what we're seeing is in the Davidson County area, there's 26% of all the homes that are on the market have had a price cut. So 556 homes on the market, 556 homes is 26% of all the homes that are on the market in Davidson County. Now, 26% of, if 550 is 26% of all the homes on the market, that tells you there's only 1,000 homes on the market in Davidson County. I'm not telling you there's a lot on the market. I am not by any means saying that, but I am seeing steps that tell us it's a softening and you as a buyer may have opportunity. Williamson County, there are 300 homes that have been reduced in price in the last 2 weeks. That's a 34% decline, I guess. Gosh, wish I'd done my math here. So again, that's approximately 900 homes on the market in Williamson County. About 34% of those, or 300, have had price reductions in the very recent last couple weeks. When we look over in Wilson County is where Mount Juliet is. They have had 132 price reductions, or 26% of the market, and right about 600 homes on the market. So of the homes that are on the market, after a couple weeks, people are reducing in price. They're really trying to find the right sweet spot that the buyers are going to rush for it. So again, you're in a sweet spot. Sweet spot. That's weird. If you have been holding off a little bit for the right time, and who knows what the interest rates are going to be. Yes, they're a little bit higher. Yes, they are. The market's a little bit softer. If you're going to live in this area, you are paying 25 to 35% more year over year for rentals. And the rentals here is kind of obscene as far as the numbers go. why pay your landlord's rent if you're going to be here? Now, if you're only going to be here in the Middle Tennessee area, in Nashville, if you're only going to be here for 3 years, don't buy. If you're really confident you're going to be here for 3 to 5 years, we can get to talk about it. So there's opportunity, and you got to look for opportunity in every single market. We are not by any means in a buyer's market. It's not a balanced market yet. A balanced market means that there's about 6 months worth of inventory. In none of these homes do we have more than a month of inventory. So it is still by far a seller's market. But you can hear those softenings, price reductions, more homes on the market, interest rates a little bit higher, so there's less competition. You might be in the perfect sweet spot to grab up that home that you might not be able to get when the rates keep on going up higher or for whatever reasons. It's time to talk. If you're serious about trying to find a home here in Nashville, you need to reach out to me. Call, text, email's my last choice for you. And if I miss it, call me. I'm Susan Thetford with Parks Properties. I'm looking forward to hearing you. I talk to a lot of people. Let's do it.